All right, everyone, welcome back to Brandon Bree's Gun Tube. What are we talking about today? So, I finally picked up one of these little guys, a Sig P365, but this is the California version, so it has some things that you may not want or like or desire in your firearm. So, one of those is the magazine disconnect safety. Just for safety reasons, obviously, we're going to check before pulling the trigger, but check this out. So, no magazine in. You can't pull the trigger because there's a magazine disconnect safety, and you can reach it in here and start pulling the trigger, but that means you got to have your magazine in, right? So we're going to cover how you remove that in this video. So it also has the chamber loaded indicator, which is right here on the top, and I don't know if I'm going to remove that or not. I actually don't mind it because then it's very clear that your chamber is loaded, right? So first thing you're going to want to do is, of course, take this thing down. So slide to the rear, takedown lever, and of course this is brand new, so everything's going to be a little bit more stiff. Takedown lever, then slide off. Pretty easy, right? Then you're going to need a couple of tools. You'll need yourself a punch, a small size punch, because of course this pin is relatively small, and then some pliers, maybe some needle nose. Once you do that, for us, it's kind of easy because we've got this stupid safety thing. So you just push up on that, and then your fire control unit pops out. So to be able to get this thing out of here, you have to remove a couple of things. You have to remove your safety trigger bar and your takedown lever. So we're going to get into that here momentarily. What you have to do is have your takedown lever in the up position so that you can remove the thumb safety. You just have to push up on your slide, catch, and release, move that up, and then you should be able to move your safety out of here. So what you have to do that is you have to push in this little detent and push it out of the way. So got to be careful with this so this thing doesn't go flying. All right, so you can see what happens when you don't even follow your own advice. So when I went to remove the little detent plunger from the manual safety, I wound up losing the detent plunger. It wound up flying off, and I spent like the last 10 minutes trying to find it. Couldn't find it, so I guess this will have to be a manual safety from now on. So that part of it's done. You can pull out your safety once you carefully, and usually, sadly enough, I do it inside of like a clear plastic bag. I didn't do it this time, and it cost me, unfortunately. So, all right, so we're aiming to remove the magazine disconnect safety here. We've got to get a few more things out of the way. We've got to get the trigger bar and the takedown lever. So then the next thing you want to do is you want to pull this bar up. There we go, much easier. So you want to move it and get it past this flat section here. That way that you can turn it. That'll allow you to remove your trigger bar, which will then allow you to remove your manual safety. Then once you do that, oops, don't do what I did and lose that little piece, which goes right over here. We can put that back in pretty easy, no worries. And now you should be able to remove your trigger. All right, so I had a tiny little Allen key. This one is .050 handy, and you should be able to push your trigger bar out, or your trigger pin rather. Then you can remove your trigger itself. That's the piece you're trying to remove, along with this little tiny spring from the back of your trigger, essentially right in here. Now you can put it back together in the reverse order. All right, so now we've got our trigger pin back in here. Then we've got to get our takedown lever back in place. Then once you have your takedown lever in place, you got to put your trigger bar back in place. Make sure this little round point right here is facing up, because there's a little groove that goes into the takedown lever. One thing that's key before you do either of those things is to make sure that your trigger pin is all the way flush. So I found this out the hard way, that if it's out even just a little bit, you can't put the other pieces back together. So now back to the takedown lever, get that in there. Then you're gonna wanna get your little trigger bar. Same thing, get that round little piece up, all right. Then once you get that back in, now you can push this, or I would say you gotta twist this back where it was. Then we're gonna need to get this piece back in there. Motherfucker, dude. Is all back together. Now you can get it and put it back into your grip frame. Boom. Then of course get your rear pin in there, then your slide, and boom, that is it. All right, so now moment of truth, did this actually work? Because this is my first time doing this, and I'm doing this on the fly with no instructions. So actually I did watch a YouTube video, but that was a couple months ago. So let's check the trigger, see if it works. Double check just to make sure that it's not loaded. Look at that. And actually, I think the trigger pull is less spongy. At least it feels so initially. Feels a little bit better. But anyway, so that's how you remove your magazine disconnect safety from your Sig P365. All right, guys, if you like my content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you. And side note, while I was cleaning up, guess what I found? I found a little safety detent plunger, so I'm going to be tearing it back apart and putting this little guy in there. Anyways, again, thank you guys for watching.